I'm Pandora. This is, well, hopefully Pandora's Box. I've always wanted to do book reviews, and I've noticed a lot of people don't really add much. They tell you the spice level, they tell you oh, here's a couple trigger warnings, or here's the tropes, and maybe a cute little spice rating. No, we need full, in-depth, maybe with age ratings, or full trigger warnings, so some people don't get, sometimes they can be triggered by certain things they read. So I'm hoping to help that. The first one I got, it's a really big one, especially if you know anything about book talk. I actually don't have TikTok, so I saw it on Instagram. It's called Hunting Adeline. And then there's the second book, Hunting Adeline, also known as the Cat and Mouse Duet by H.D. Carlton. So I want to first off start. This book is kind of similar to a classic Gothic, maybe one you studied in school. It has a similar feel, right? Sorry, I had to adjust. It's kind of like a horror mystery thriller with romance. So it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I do want to start out. These are the triggers for this book. There's rape, child abuse, implied cannibalism, drugs, skin trade. If you don't know what the skin trade is, it's sex trafficking. It's people, whether that be male, female, kids. That one makes my stomach hurt. There's human sacrifice, hauntings, stalking, organ trafficking, madames, slaves, gore, murder, violence, torture, arson, more sacrifice, kidnapping, cults, and Satan worship. If you have experienced any of this, even sexual abuse, and you find these triggers difficult to deal with, please, please, please do not read this. Protect your mental health and your sanity. This book would not be for you. Someone's always here to listen, even if it's me. I'm a sexual abuse survivor and have been manipulated by many things. I'm here to help if you can. Please reach out to a mentor, a friend, family, suicide hotline, and abuse survivors. There's always someone here waiting to listen. Now let's really get into it. So these books are dark, but they're written in kind of a refreshing way, if that makes sense at all. It's kind of similar to, I find it similar to streams of consciousness. They tend to read the way the character thinks, like something weird is happening, maybe logic dictates, logic dictates, screw this, I'm out, bye, peace. Or the way that characters cuss and relay a normal thought pattern within day-to-day lives instead of just fully writing it out. It does both, but I find it's different. I really like it. Yes, I have notes. It's a long review. So the first book jumps right in. It's set in Washington State in a Gothic manner that I would absolutely die to have inherited, just like Adeline. Black on black on black, my absolute favorite color. This manor is black everywhere. It is everything a Gothic Victorian mansion would have. Beautiful. I don't want to give away plot. I don't want to ruin it for anyone who wants to read the book. But let me just say, the mystery of reading Gigi's journal throughout the book and the corresponding events happening to Adeline that even happened to her great-grandmother kind of create this appeal and thrill within the haunting. I wish there had been more appearances of Gigi or even Nana as ghosts, and maybe even full specters. It would have given it more of a ghostly feel, more of that haunting Adeline, but the haunting is physical as well as metaphysical or supernatural. It's a double meaning in this case. But the ghosts aren't the main story. They are, but they aren't. You'll learn of a character named Z, or Zaid. you kind of hate him and adore him at the same time. But he does tackle some of the most heinous crimes that happen in our world today. And I kind of admit I wish he was real. If only to help take care of the blight of evil that surrounds the trade of people, the sex trade. It's, oh, I shudder to think that the fact that it still goes on today. He kind of, in a way, Zaid kind of reminds me of a Dexter type of character. Have you ever watched the TV series Dexter? The serial killer that works for the Miami Metro Homicide. You know, he kills other serial killers. Well, Zaid is a bad guy, but a good guy. Do with that what you will. There are a couple instances where I actually had to put the book down and step away because I was shaking in anger. I couldn't, because I know shit like this happens all the time. And other times it's because I had my own flashbacks. It's okay. You can step away. It's fine. I know God's with me, and I'm able to calm down and remember the book is not real, but it does tackle real life problems. Book 2 is a lot heavier in Hunting Adeline. This is where more of the rape, trafficking, sex slaves, arson, murder, torture come into play. The technical expertise displayed is absolutely phenomenal. And honestly, it made me smile. It reminds me of my father's own genius and intelligence when it comes to computers and hacking. He does it legally, by the way. I want to put that out there. I do thoroughly wish the agencies like Zaid exist. Do I know if they do? There might be. I don't know. But the government does not take enough action, just like Zaid talks about in the book. They do not do enough, and a lot of times they are the ones that are corrupt, that are also taking a part in the sex trade. I mean, freaking, we have, obviously, Epstein's Island. That is one huge example. Stuff like that happens in the book. I don't know. This shit is wild. Excuse my language, but I want it to stop. Do I think it'll ever stop? No, probably not till Jesus comes back. Mind you, back to the book. There are some honest groups that do help tackle this in the real world. We do have honest cops. I know, ooh, surprising. I grew up around a lot of them. FBI. I've worked and talked to many detectives just in my line of work. CIA, MI6, and so many units that specialize in in special victims. Vice units. Using technology at their disposal, similar to ways he does, but probably not as extensive. If they did, we could bring so many home. Thank God, at least where I live, we have a system called Amber Alert. Amber Alerts are for children that have been kidnapped. Clear adults are for clear adults. Wow! Clear Alert is for adults. Silver is for the elderly. And if you see a blue and it's near you, run. Blue Alert is when there is a cop that has been murdered or viciously wounded and the subject is now running away and armed. Do not engage, ever. Ever. Don't be a hero. Not in that case. There's also a camo alert. This one strikes a little close to my heart. I come from a military family, and I work for a military family-oriented company. A camo alert, it's when a former military or currently serving military member goes missing or possibly poses a threat to themselves or others. You would be so surprised how many people How many veterans take their lives a day because they don't get the help they need? They don't reach out, or no one sees anything. Check on them, guys. They need you. Whether actively serving or retired, or they're just not serving anymore. Not active duty. Check on them. Tell them you love them. My heartstrings kind of get tugged a little bit when it comes to this, even though it's fiction, but it's written in a way that you can visualize some of the events in the book. They're real. They do happen. And it's a load of shit. Honestly, I don't know if anybody's been paying attention, but if you love Comic-Con, cosplay, and all things pop culture, like I do, you may not be able to see my Loki helmet in the back. There was a recent sting operation at San Diego Comic-Con. Many cops were undercover trying to stop the very thing this book covers: the sex trade, sex trafficking, skin trade, people, children, men, women, teenagers. It's disgusting. And the fact that it happened at something that's supposed to be so much fun, and learn about new movies coming out, celebrate all things geeky and weird and wonderful. When I saw it pop up, I was freaking out. Now, for Hunting Adeline, I honestly really love the books. If you can stomach it, I would give my rating a 7.5 out of 10. There's a few things I wish would have changed, maybe a little more symbolism, maybe more literary devices, but it's the old English teacher in me wanting to see more contextualized, more alliteration. I do not consider this book for teenagers. I definitely think you should be at least 25 before touching these books. At least. It is very graphic, very sexual, and there are instances that kids, teenagers, even some young adults shouldn't have any knowledge of. That being said, I hope this helps. And I do want to end the video with a couple quotes that really just tickled my fancy. One is, this is from book 1, mind you. It says, when you make someone fall in love with you. I read that wrong. Wind up. When you make someone fall in love with the darkest parts of you, there is nothing you can do that'll scare them away. They'll be yours forever because they already love all of the effed up bits and pieces of you. Let's see. That's it by Z. Another one that just I don't know how to explain it. If you're a reader, you kind of understand. Cat got your tongue, little mouse? I was like, oh! It's so good. Here's another one by Z. I've never pretended to be a good person, but what I did do was create my own effing morals to live by. I will keep killing every deranged individual who resides on this, God forgive them, GD planet, if it means children don't have to die. And you don't have to live in danger. Book 2. I realized that a lot of these good quotes actually come from Z. It says, I don't care if I need to set this world on fire until there's no one left but you and me. The world will burn around us, and I'll gladly live in chaos with you as long as the only person that is a danger to you is me. I may own every breath in your body, but make no mistake, Adeline, you own mine too. I am yours to command, to bend and break, to mold and manipulate. Do you think that makes me weak? Or do you think I'm strong enough to admit that even though my body can physically live on without you, I would never get my effing soul back? Whew. Hello. Love, you rang. Don't you wish that you'd hear a guy tell you that? Or a female? Zayd may be Hades, but the dark god has never been known to bow for anyone but his woman. I never understood why the sickest of humanity go out of their way to appear the prettiest. You can throw glitter on a snake, but the bitch still bites. Not wrong. Now, hope you enjoyed this. Again, if you want to talk about the tropes, it's definitely enemies to lovers, forced proximity, kidnapping. I wouldn't call it, it's definitely dark romance. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. If there's anybody that ever watches this, let me know another book you may want me to read. Just like, comment, subscribe. And my next book is Dragon Isle Wars.